I'm delighted to be here in Livingston, my hometown, to honor an outstanding technology educator and outstanding technology students from Livingston High School. I'm especially pleased to make these presentations as a former teacher myself. I taught English at West Orange High School for 30 years. And because Livingston High School is where my two children were graduated and my grandchildren go to school right here in town, although my grandson was just graduated from Livingston High School. So you can see why this is such a special occasion for me. Our first presentation is to James Novotny, the Technology Department Supervisor for the Livingston Public Schools. And that's because he received the 2015 Excellence Award for Supervisor of the Year from the New Jersey Technology and Engineering Educators Association. But before I tell you about Mr. Novotny, I'm going to ask him to join me here at the podium, so please welcome him with a round of applause. Mr. Novotny. The NJTEAA Excellent Award recognized Mr. Novotny for being an outstanding supervisor in the field of technology education, for applying the most relevant technology tools and meaningful instruction with regard to 21st century skills, for paying close attention to Common Core standards, for being a leader in the field who sets an example for future educators in technology. His skill, commitment, and creativity have benefited Livingston students so much. And we have the proof sitting right here in the room with us tonight. Because under his leadership and oversight, 3 teams of technology students, the Echo Lancers, robotics team number 3415, and students participating in the TEAMS competition enjoyed great success in just the last few months, and we will honor them tonight as well. In addition to his current position with the Livingston Public Schools, Mr. Novotny has served as adjunct professor at Kean University since 1990. He also served as a trainer and advisor for the What's Up in Factories and What's Up in Technology programs at WNET Channel 13, as a member and officer of many state, national, and international technology and engineering education organizations, and as a presenter at many of their conferences, seminars, and conventions. In addition to this year's NJTEAA award, he received many other awards and honors for excellence and achievements as a technology educator. He earned his bachelor's degree in technology education from Kent State, his master's degree in industrial technology education from Ball State, and his ABD, EDD in curriculum and teaching from Teachers College in New York City. He is married to his wife Louise, and they are the proud parents of 2 children, Andrew and Laura. He is an outstanding advocate and success story for STEM education, the education curriculum geared to broaden the study of S, science, T, technology, E, engineering, and M, math, and to put that learning to practical use to solve real-world and real-life problems. Mr. Novotny, there is no question that you are a leader in the field of technology education, a deserving recipient of the NJTEA Supervisor of the Year Award, and that Livingston residents and that Livingston students throughout the district are the beneficiaries of your talents. So on behalf of the entire Essex County Board of Chosen Freeholders, I'm delighted to present you with this well-deserved commendations and congratulations, and I hope that you will say a few words.
Thank you very much. I don't know what to say. That's pretty good. I've been teaching for my 27th year. Getting up there. I started off in Montclair at Mount Hebron Middle School and came to Livingston, and I figured I'd finish up my doctorate and move on, become a principal and eventually a superintendent. And I came to Livingston and love it. I've got tremendous support when I came here back in '93, and just an amazing community, amazing town, amazing kids, amazing parents. And what I want to do is build a really phenomenal program, and with the support I've had here in the town, I've been able to do it. This year we had tremendous success with all our teams, but it wasn't me. I appreciate everything that's said there, but these kids, all the teachers in the school, math, science, English, that helps. My teachers in the technology department, I got fantastic teachers, and they contribute to making these kids, they're giving them a background. So what I do is I'm kind of an orchestrator. I'm kind of the director up in front of these guys, put stuff in front of them, and they're able to respond in a really high level. And I'm blessed to be able to do that. And I love to share with anybody throughout Essex County and share our success that we've had in Livingston, because I think it's doable in any district, in any school. So thank you so much.
Thank you. And one person I didn't mention that I don't want to forget, and that is the principal of Livingston High School, because Mark Stern, the principal of Livingston High School, was a student of mine. I know, and every time I see him, I get a big kiss and a big hug. Yeah, he's a great guy. Good, good. I want to hear that because I always liked him as a student. Outstanding technology students, and they are Lancer Robotics Team number 3415, who competed at the first Tech Challenge World Championship in St. Louis, where they placed 11th in the world, and also won. And they also won the Think Award for their engineering notebook, and I believe they will demonstrate their robot for us tonight. So let's have a round of applause for them. We also have a team of 9th and 10th grade students who participated in the TEAMS competition, which stands, as I said before, for Test of Engineering and Math Skills, where in their grade category, they received the highest score in the state of New Jersey and the 3rd highest score in the nation. And we also have the Echo Lancers, who competed so successfully at the 2015 Shell Echo Marathon in Detroit, Michigan, back in April, where their vehicle achieved an amazing 558 miles per gallon, and where they won the Communications Award. And as you already know, their vehicle is here with us tonight. It's right outside, and you'll see it shortly. So let's hear it for the Echo Lancers. At this point, I'm going to turn the mic back over to Mr. Novotny so he can tell us about the hard work and success of these 3 groups of students in greater detail, one group at a time, as well as introduce us to the members of each of the groups and lead us through the demonstrations. We have framed commendations from the Freeholder Board for each group, as well as copy of the commendations for all the students. So Mr. Novotny, the floor is yours.
Thank you again. I'm going to start off with the team. That's the 4 people right here. There's actually more of them. We're meeting over the summer. I've got students in China. I've got some that graduated, moved, went back to Israel. We're all over the country, and I was able to get the members here of the teams competition to show up tonight. They're wonderful kids. They took a test. I think the test booklet was 65 pages, 70 pages, and they had to divide up. They have a group of kids. I think you had eight kids on the team, they had to divide up how they're going to conquer this massive test. And the test was dealing with energy and power, recycling, and different types of fuels that would move our society into the future. And so it wasn't just knowing good math skills, but then you had to use the math skills to solve some real world problems. And so we're fortunate. Livingston has a phenomenal math program. These kids, they did a really good job on the math. And then when they have to do these essays about these problems, they nailed it. And the reason they nailed it, Livingston has a great science program, and these kids took environmental science and chemistry, and they were able to take that knowledge, tie it in with this real-world problem, kind of work together as a team, as a technology or an engineer, and they had the math skills to go with it, and therefore you have the entire team's TEAMFs, and they were able to score really well. So they scored at the top of the state, which is amazing. I mean, we're talking about some real top-notch schools. We're talking private schools. We're talking Bergen Academy, very selective process to get into Bergen Academy. Union County Magnet School, top-notch. They take the top 50 kids from all Union County. We outscored those guys. We outplaced them. So it gives you some idea how well this team performed. And they're in 10th grade. Most of them are 10th graders, so 9th and 10th graders. So they're going to be around for a couple years. So I'm looking forward to seeing what they come up with in the next couple years. So let's bring up Jackie Gelman. And Tiffany Yu. We have John Kean. And Richard Kim. You guys want to say anything real quick? Or? There you go. There's a cap.
I just want to say that it was a really great experience working with the entire team, and we're so fortunate to have the support of Mr. Novotny and the Livingston Board of Education and the Essex County Freeholders, and we really hope to do well next year too when we compete again. So thank you.
All right, let's bring up the FTC First Robotics team from Livingston High School, FTC 3415, the Mighty Lancers. Come on up, guys. Well, the Lancer Robotics team is about 15 kids, 18 kids, somewhere in that number. It varies throughout the year. It's a very selective team. It's a lot of work to do robotics. We get a number of kids, probably 40 kids go out for the team every year, and by the time the season's over, we have about 15 to 18 kids who are willing to put the time and effort and dedication. I can't overestimate how much time and effort these guys put in. They literally have been meeting over the summer, meeting with freshmen to teach them how to program, how to build with the robotics parts, how to do electronics. And they're really a self-running team. If I could step away and this team would be able to carry on for a whole entire year and be successful. And that's the way I'd like to have all our teams at Livingston. They're very much student-run. So I got a couple of the captains. They literally run the team. They call meetings and they get everything organized. It'd be like having a football team. And imagine a student is the coach of the football team calling the plays. That's kind of what we do with the robotics team. And that's the way STEM education is about. So they're presented with a problem in September, and in about another month and a half, 2 months, they'll be getting a new problem. And this year the problem was to grab wiffle balls off the floor, and you had to knock them out of a container, grab them off the floor, and then stack them into tubes. And so beginning in September, they had to design a robot that's going to do that. Had to be efficient, had to be built within a time frame. Had to fit in with a certain size, a certain box, 18 inches by 18 inches. And then they go off to competitions. They go to a local competition like we sponsor here in Livingston. And then if they do well in that, they go to the state level. If they do well at the state level, which they did, they go to a super regional area, which is all the states from Maine all the way down to Virginia. That's the top 72 teams from that area. And if you do well at that competition, you then advance to the World Championships, which was held in St. Louis this year, which is 128 teams from around the world. There are 4,000 teams overall that participated in FTC First Robotics. They were one of the 128 teams that made it to the World Championships. When they got to the World Championships, they ended up in 11th place out of the 128 teams. But more impressive than that, and the one thing that I am so proud of these guys, we teach engineering documentation. We want these kids to think like an engineer, act like an engineer. When they go off to college, the biggest challenge they're going to run into is documentation and how to act like an engineer. And so this team was recognized for their logbook. It's a copy of it right here. The logbook is a documentation of their entire journey. Everything that this team did this year is documented in the logbook. From outreaches to working with other teams to fundraising to their business plan to marketing plan, logos, team meetings, brainstorming, designing. The list goes on and on and on. So when the judges saw that logbook, they were very, very impressed and gave them the Think Award, which is it's like one of the top awards you can win for First Robotics. So well deserved. I'm going to turn it over to you guys because you want to just show them a little bit about the robot and give them a little overview.
So today, our robot currently is not in functioning order. Oh, by the way, my name's James McGovern. I'm one of the co-captains of the team. We're actually preparing for an event this Saturday, so it's currently in the process of being reprogrammed. But overall, throughout the year, we have to create a robot that can do tasks both autonomously and by user control. And by that, we mean that it has to be programmed, uses sensors, and navigates around the field on its own.
Okay, I'm Forrest. I'm also a builder on the team. I'm just going to talk a little about the robot functions. So as Mr. Novotny said, the goal of this year's game was to collect wiffle balls and stack them into tubes. So this is the front of the robot. We have this conveyor belt system. It basically is able to collect the wiffle balls, and it also there's also smaller wiffle balls that are less efficient in scoring. So we're able to filter out those balls by using these Lexan rails over here. Once we collect these wiffle balls, they're stacked into a hopper over here, which we also made out of Lexan, and then we have a lift over here which raises to the appropriate tube height. And then we have this 3D printed part in the back over here, which enables us to score balls. And then also we have, I'm not sure if you can see, but we have these mechanism wheels. These wheels allow us to move side to side and forward and backward. So this allows us for a lot of maneuverability, and it allows us to collect balls in a more efficient manner.
I'm Stephen Ortrulli, and I do computer-aided design for the team. I help create the custom 3D printed parts that are on our robot that help it perform more proficiently.
And we'd also like to thank Mr. Novotny for all of his countless hours and weekends spent with us. He came out to St. Louis with us, advised us, dealt with us for many days. Didn't like it. No, I'm kidding. We're just not the most efficient timely team, but he keeps us on track with that. And we want to thank you for all that.
Wonderful. Great experience. Thanks. What do you have? 18? Oh, yeah, because the seniors. 19? We have like 4 or 5 people graduated, so. There you go. Okay. So So something interesting with this robot, if it's the end of the season, so everything's kind of held together with bubble gum and tape, so to speak. They have one more event this year, and then the robot comes apart and it gets redesigned for another event. But they designed something that's really clever. The robot moves sideways, backwards, forward. It is able, if you could drive a car like this, you'd be amazed. Imagine driving up to a parallel parking spot. You don't have to wiggle back in. This thing can go up to the spot and then just kind of slide sideways into the spot. The other thing that's really unique about this, and it's really amazing programming, and it's a tie-in. You talk about STEM and the tie-in between technology, math, and science. They have a controller, and they control the robot. No matter what way this robot is positioned, when they push the controller this way, the robot goes that way. Now you think about that. That's kind of, if you're in a competition, your robot gets turned around, you're going like, you push this way, you don't know which way the robot's going to go. They designed a system that it always goes that direction. No other team in the whole entire country, nobody else had that design. It was really kind of special that they took a lot of time to figure that out this year, and that was pretty impressive. So, good luck, guys. Take care. Oh yeah, me too. Let me just take a second to explain. STEM is bigger than just science. Like when you think of STEM, you think of like engineers, but you can have STEM we have kids that work on stage and theater design. That's a STEM field. You can be somebody in automotive field. That's a STEM field. You have biotechnology, it's a STEM field. Kids have interest in very wide range of these STEM areas. One of the ones that we went to look at was, in the future, in the next 20 years, the fuel economy of vehicles has got to go up. As a matter of fact, I just bought a car. I'm getting like 75 miles a gallon in this car I've got. I'm going like, this is crazy. So this team, about 5 years ago, I challenged them to get involved with what's called the Shell Eco Marathon. And Shell sponsors a competition. They sponsor one here in the United States, one in Europe, and one in Asia. And they challenge kids in high school and colleges to design a vehicle powered by either gasoline, electric, diesel fuel, biodiesel, alcohol, hydrogen fuel, and compressed natural gas. And this team put together a car about, this is their 4th year competing. The first year they went to the competition, they went to just find out how to get in the competition, how to get the car to go around, how get involved with the team, get involved with the competition. Second year they fielded 2 teams, one in diesel, one in gasoline. They built a body out of fiberglass and they built a new frame, and the cars didn't perform the way they wanted to. Aluminum, they found out twists and turns, and you'd think aluminum would be a great material to build a vehicle out. It's not a great material to build vehicles out. Third year, they redesigned that, and this year they fuel injected the engine, and they literally put fuel injection on. Imagine like a little weed whacker, a little engine that you would have in like around the yard. They put a fuel injection system on it. They got all kind of sensors. They do all kind of programming to this thing. They went through and analyzed 100 different features that would help their efficiency. And that's what this team worked on the entire year to come up with a vehicle. They were shooting for 1,000 miles per gallon. They will get there. They're finding out in the real world how hard it is to get fuel efficiency. It's a challenge. They were featured, one of the nice things that, I think I have it here. They were featured on a program called Classroom Close-Up. They came out and filmed this, and it's one of their more popular episodes. I talked to the Rich Renner, the guy that runs that, and he says they get a lot of requests for that video because there's a lot of other schools who are looking to do something like this. We were the only high school in New Jersey. There was only one other high school up in upstate New York in this area. There were no colleges in New Jersey. Stevens University couldn't get their car done. They couldn't get their vehicle done. We got in there. We competed with Cal Poly. We competed with University of Michigan. We competed University of Colorado. There's some really top-notch colleges, and we did pretty good. We did pretty good, and we're only going to get better. So, thank you for recognizing us. Yeah, let's. Yeah, well, you know what? One comment. Okay, so I've got Matt Gelnese. I got Chris Myers, and I got Olin Birkenbush. Just a real quick word. These guys, when we go to, we went to Detroit. We leave like 4 o'clock in the morning. They get there, they work till about 3 o'clock in the morning the following day. They get about 4 hours sleep, they get back up at 7 o'clock in the morning, and they work again until 2 o'clock in the morning. It's a real, and it's kind of fun because it's in a big convention center, and there's 150 teams from around the country, and they're all working together, trying to get their vehicles to pass inspection and all that kind of stuff. So, great, they do great work. Perfect. Yeah, that's. Yeah, we'll be good with that.
So at the competition, basically to sum up the 4 days at the competition back in April, I would say it's like a huge learning experience. Like you learn so much about everything, mainly about like teamwork and communications. And I can remember in the teamwork aspect, in the paddock next to us, we would borrow tools and ask for advice on our car when things would go wrong. In communication, you can talk to other teams. It's not like they're going to shut you out and say, not give you help. They will give you help. And it's a good, trying to think of the word. It's a good mode for learning like good things in fields. Sorry. Having trouble finding the words.
Talk about the inspection. And the cars show up to 150 cars, and only about 80 cars actually make it out onto the field because they pass the safety system. Tell us about what they do.
So Shell is a real stickler for safety inspection. When we first got there, it was one of our 2 team captains, Tall and Alex. Our flight was canceled for some reason, so we weren't there. But we do know about the safety inspection that it's very rigorous because we had to go through it more than once. Because you can fail it and fail it and fail it and fail it, and you could before you even get on the track, you have to pass it. And so if you can't pass it, you don't get on the track and you won't be able to compete. And there's a team on our right that failed and failed and failed and failed, probably because they built their car at the competition, which was a poor idea. But anyway, they failed safety inspection numerous times, and it's a real it's annoying, but it's a good thing because you'd rather be safe than sorry.
No. I think somebody.
Detroit. You pull out on the highway in Detroit. They close down all of Detroit, and you literally go out and make about a 1 mile course. And so you got to go down hills, down around corners. You got to be able to stop, and so the vehicles need to stop. They need to accelerate a certain way. They have to have stoplights, turn signals. They've got to steer a certain distance. You got to be able to see out the back. There's communication with the driver and people on the sidelines, and these guys kind of figure out how all that's going to work together. We had Jay Leno was the guest person at the field this year. The winning design over 3,000 miles per gallon this year. 3,000 miles per gallon. Imagine that. Go from here to California on less than a gallon of gas. That's amazing. So we're like 580. We can get to Chicago on a gallon of gas. That's not bad. So we're still working on it. We're still trying to get weight off this thing. One of the things you mentioned, the logbook with the robotics team. This team won the communications award, and the way they won the communication award, they went out of their way to communicate what this team is about. They teamed up with Trans Options. They went to presentations to show what the Shell Eagle Marathon's about. They had a TV show shot about them. We ended up on Steve Agibato's show talking about this. They've gone to numerous presentations. The governor came down, or he didn't actually come down and see, but he wrote a nice letter of thank you for them. Tremendous support across the board. They go out, you can see all the vendors that they go out and talk to. These kids, when they first came on board, they couldn't talk on the phone. They'd say, we need the wheels on here, $500 for a wheel. You $500? Are you kidding me? $500? We can't afford a $500 wheel. So they would get on the phone and they would talk to these businesses, and they'd be on the phone for hours and hours and hours talking to the different types of stuff. Everything that you see on the side here, these people donated. So the engine was donated, the wheels were donated, hydraulic brakes, steering. Kids work meeting with other engineers and talking about this stuff. So I think that's a really important part of this, is mentoring. Olin, what would you like to say?
It's
been a tremendous learning experience, and before I came to this team, I didn't know the first thing about cars, and now I am the fuel injection specialist for the team. And I didn't know a single thing about electronics, and I helped wire the car. Yeah.
The learning curve for fuel injection is huge. It's amazing. If he learns fuel injection, goes off to college, and he gets an engineering degree, write your own ticket, because every car has fuel injection, and how to program that is going to be very, very important.
I'm Matt. First of all, this has really been a big learning experience for me. When I first started out, I knew nothing, pretty much. I came from building robots out of Legos into building stuff like this. And I started working on the steering system and helping design and build the frame. That was its own learning experience. And now we're moving into another field. I started asking people from Louisiana Tech and Missouri, Colorado, UCLA, about how they built their cars and trying to figure out that stuff. And that's been know how I'm going to be able to design this stuff, but I'm pretty sure with our tech program and my teammates at my side, I'm pretty sure we can probably conquer everything.
My last comment before you take this picture, one of the things that we focus on is building teams. You might have heard that through all the competitions. And oh, by the way, we build a car. And oh, by the way, we build a robot. But building that team, to me, is the most vital thing you can do as a so.
I don't want to take a photo. I want to drive it.
All right, folks.